Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise today to speak about the nation's #1 insurance program, Social Security. It has been that way since Franklin Delano Roosevelt first introduced it and continues to be the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and, frankly, Madam Speaker, the #1 anti-poverty program for children. And yet Congress has been derelict in its duty. There has not been a vote to enhance Social Security since 1971. Richard Nixon was President of the United States. As we speak today, there are close to 70 million Americans who rely on Social Security. Of those 70 million, it's important to understand that 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. More than 5 million of our fellow Americans have worked and paid into a system and get below poverty level checks from their government, the wealthiest in the world, with the nation's #1 anti-poverty program that this body has not acted on in more than 50 years. It's long overdue that we take the initiative and have a vote in the United States Congress that will help the American people. Social Security is bedrock, and whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you understand this. Now, our colleagues on the other side have put forward something they call a study commission. We don't need to study Social Security. We know what needs to be done, but to have a study that goes behind closed doors, has an up or down vote that's unamendable, with no input from this body, is absurd and anti-democratic and anti-elderly and children from the standpoint of the havoc that it would wreak on this system. The idea that they're doing this to save Social Security is a fallacy. They're doing it so they can go behind closed doors and cut the very program that sustains so many Americans. More than 40% of all Americans who are on Social Security, this is the only pension benefit that they will have. And Madam Speaker, you know as well as I that it's not only a pension benefit, it's a disability benefit, as well as taking care of spouses and children. And imagine, for our viewers in the audience, Congress hasn't taken a vote in more than 50 years for the nation's #1 anti-poverty program. It's long overdue that we not study this. How about we do what we're elected to do by the public and actually vote? And if you got a better idea, put it out there. But we believe this as well. I commend President Biden for saying, and look, the way that we're going to pay for this is to lift the cap, or what's called scrap the cap, on people making over $400,000. This past month marked that millionaires have already stopped paying into the Social Security program. Bill Gates stopped paying back in January. That is wrong, it's not right, but to lift that cap will allow us not only to extend the solvency of Social Security, but increase benefits across the board for its members, to make sure that WEP and GPO, which have hurt teachers and municipal employees over the year, is finally scrapped. To have in there a tax cut for more than 23 million Americans who continue to pay taxes on their Social Security, and to make sure that everyone's benefits are enhanced. And where does that money go, Madam Speaker? The money from Social Security goes right back into every single congressional district, and it allows those individuals in that district to sustain themselves. Nobody's going out and buying stock options with Social Security 2100. And with that, Madam Speaker, I yield back my time and thank you.
Thank you. The gentleman